Good day everyone, welcome to another session. Today we'll be looking at IELTS General Training Reading Test. What the reading test is all about, the different question type, that's what we'll be looking at today. My name is Moyosore Olaya once again. Let's go on a short break. Welcome back, and like I said, we're going to be looking at the reading test of the reading section rather of the IELTS test, and we're going to be looking at the different question type under the reading test. Then our focus will be on the first section. Now, the IELTS reading has three sections. The first section comprises of 2 passages with about 14 questions or 13 questions. And these passages are majorly focused on everyday life in an English-speaking country. Everyday living or everyday life in an English-speaking country. And there will be questions on each of the passage. The second section also has 2 texts, but this is often related to work situation, or let me say a career-like situation. And we also have questions focused on what you have been asked in the passage. Now, the last section is often a text or one passage which is quite lengthy. It's lengthier than section 1 and section 2, and we would have questions on the passage as well. Now, for each of these sections, you are expected to answer each of them in 20 minutes. That simply means section 1 is for 20 minutes, section 2 is for 20 minutes, and the last section is also for 20 minutes. Now that means we are spending 1 hour under the reading test. I hope that is clear. Now, we are going to look at the common question type under the reading test. The common question type under the reading test. Okay, so the first question type is multiple choice. Multiple choice, like we know, is also known as OBJ or objective test, and we have to choose between different options or alternative A, B, C, or D. And we have another multiple choice or another kind of multiple choice under the IELTS test, where we have to choose 2 alternatives or 2 options. So when we have that, that means instead of the option stopping at D, we would have it extended down to E. That's for 2 options. Another one like it is the one where we have to choose 3 options. So that would have an extension from A down to G. So when we have letter A down to G, we are choosing 3 answers. So that is for the multiple choice question type on the IELTS test. Now the next one is identifying information. Now, identifying information is a question type that wants the candidate to make comparison between information contained in the question and the one in the passage. Now, this question type is often known as true, false, not given question type. Another one like it is the yes, no, not given question type. You are being asked to identify which information is actually true according to the passage, or which is false, or which is not given. So that's another question type under the IELTS reading test. Now the next one is identifying the writer's view or claim. That's similar to identifying information, but instead of writing true, false, not given, you're writing yes, no, not given. Now the next one is matching information. Matching information. Matching information is a question type that requires that you match an aspect of the passage with that of the question, or put in the other way around, you match the information contained in the question with where it is located in the passage. So that is identifying information question type.
Hey, are you enjoying this video? Liking this video or leaving your comments will not take anything away from you. It will rather suggest to YouTube algorithm that will make useful educative content and help them rank us better so that we can reach more persons like you. So why not do it? Hit the like button, comment, and make sure you subscribe so that YouTube algorithms can push it upward and make it viral, helping others like you. Thank you.
Now the one that looks like it is matching headings. Now matching headings question type is actually a summary question type because you are being asked to select a heading that would fit each section of the passage. Now, under this question type, you have been given a list of titles or headings, and you have been given section of the passage. So your job as the candidate is to match a heading with a particular section of the passage. So that's what we do under matching headings. Now, we also have matching sentence headings. Now, matching sentence headings majorly, you are being given different sentences that are often incomplete. So your job is to complete these sentences. By selecting some words or expression from the passage that would complete the sentence. So that's what we do under matching sentence headings. Now we have series of questions which are similar in their approach and how we answer them. But the overall word for it, or the umbrella word for it, is what we call short answer. Short answer question. Now, short answer question is also known as fill in the gap. Now, under this short answer question, we now have some other kind of question. Example is table completion, sentence completion, note completion, summary completion, diagram label completion. And why I said short answer is the umbrella word is because all of this require that you fill in some blank spaces, and that is basically what short answer is all about. I hope that is clear. We'll go on a short break and I'll be back shortly.
Hi, do you know that you can get better in-depth teaching on this topic you are watching right now? Simply use the link in the description where you can get access to our tutors, your favorite tutor one-on-one, and discuss a conversation on joining our live class. You can also go to our website on www.allcbts.com to book a session with your favorite tutor.
So welcome back. Now let's look at identifying information question type, which is also known as true, false, not given. Now this question type is very common under the first section of the reading test. That's section 1. Is a very common question type that is often located in section 1. Now, what we are being asked to do is actually compare the information in the question with what has been given in the passage. Then we get to decide whether this information is similar or is contrary or is just an assumption that we cannot decide whether it is true or it is false. So that's what we're doing under identifying information. Now, one thing we should have at the back of our mind is that the statements will not be expressed in the exact way as we have it in the passage or in the text. So that means most of the time the statement contained in the question are written in another way, and that is often a rephrase or a paraphrase. So now let's look at an example to make it very clear. Now here's the example. Here is an extract from a brochure on terms and conditions of booking a holiday, followed by series of statements. Now you have to decide whether the statement is true according to the information we have or we've been given in the text, or whether it is false or whether it is not given. Now let me read out the example. We have our bunker is printed long periods in advance, so we must reserve the right to make alterations without notice. Certain facilities, such as swimming pool, are available as stated, but these may be withdrawn according to circumstances and demand. Please note that we do not employ lifeguards, and so children and non-swimmers must be accompanied by an adult swimmer at all times. Should any guest cause problems or inconvenience to other guests, they will be asked to leave the holiday park without a refund. Now that is the extract that we've just read. Now the question says, if there are not enough people at the holiday park, the swimming pool might be closed. So is that true, false, or not given? Now we have some parts being highlighted in the passage, so I'm going to read that out. We have certain facilities such as the swimming pool are available as stated, but these may be withdrawn according to circumstances and demand. Now our answer actually lies in where we have and demand. Demand simply means how often people make use of the swimming pool. So that has been restated in the question, because the question says if there are not enough people at the holiday park, the swimming pool might be closed. So that means if there is no one using it, it will be closed. That is definitely true. So the question is only restating the last part of that sentence. So the answer is true. Moving on. One thing we can say about a true answer, or let me say a characteristics of a true answer, is that it is a rephrase of what is given in the passage. Let me take that again. A true answer is a rephrase of the information or of the statement given in the passage. So that's how you can identify a true answer. Now, how can you identify a false answer? A false answer most of the time is incorrect, but you can correct it from the passage because you have the actual information in the passage. So when you can correct a certain expression from the passage, then the answer is false. Let me take that again. When you can correct the statement contained in the question from the passage, your answer is false, because a false answer is often an incorrect statement. I hope that is clear. So now moving on, we have not given. Not given is often an assumption, and you know an assumption cannot be said to be true or false. We are only assuming. So when we have a statement that is an assumption, our answer would be not given. When we have a statement that is an assumption, our answer would be not given. I hope that is clear. So let's go for a short break. We'll be back. Welcome back. So now let's look at an example of a not given answer. Example of a not given answer. So I'm going to read another extract from the same holiday brochure. So let's go. It says, a limited number of dogs are allowed in the holiday park at an extra charge of £40 per week. Dogs will not be admitted into the holiday park unless advised and paid for in advance and will be strictly monitored. Dogs must be supervised and kept on the lead at all times. Proof of payment will be required and must be shown on arrival. Now, the question says, The number of dogs is restricted to 1 per booking. Let's go back. We have a limited number of dogs are allowed in the holiday park at an extra charge of £40 per week. A limited number. That does not say 1, does not say 2, it does not say 3. It only says a limited number. So we can't assume that it is 1. So the question is an assumption. So because it is an assumption, we can't say whether the limited number means 1 or it means 2 or 3. So we simply go for not given. Our answer would be not given because that statement is an assumptive statement. I hope that is clear. So let's move on. Let's look at another question type.
Hi, if you are preparing for an exam, this channel is for you. We have loads of content for you which we'll be releasing in coming days and weeks. Make sure you like this channel and subscribe to this channel so that as soon as we are releasing those videos, you'll be notified by YouTube and you can have success all in one sitting.
Now the next question type we'll be looking at is the matching features question type. That's the next question type we'll be looking at. Matching features. And this is also another common question under the first section of the reading test or under the first part of the reading test. Now, what do we do under matching features? Let's look at an example to make it clear. So we have this. I'm just going to read out the extracts. So let's go. As working from home becomes an increasingly popular option for many workers, garden offices have become big business. There are a range of shares available for people who can no longer face the long journey to work. Some garden offices retain the feel of a traditional shade-like atmosphere, such as those from the Garden Room Company, while with others, the trend is towards eco-friendly constructions. One example of the latter is Vivid Green, whose main focus is low-energy products. The Z model from Energy Space takes this one step further. The energy generated through its solar roof panels can be diverted back to the main house when you are not working in the garden office. Now that's the passage I just read. So let's look at the question. Now the question says, match each description with the correct complaint. Match each description with the correct complaint. Now here's the description. We have this complaint as the sign a shed which can reduce existing household fuel bills. This complaint has the sign a shed which can reduce existing household fuel bills. And we have the list of complaints. The first is garden room complaint. The second is Vivid Green. And the third is Energy Space. Now, you would notice that we have the label A, B, C in front of each of the lists or each of the complaints. Now, in answering this kind of question, you are not expected to write out the name of the complaint or the word in front of the label. You are only required to write down the alphabet label. Like in this example, the right answer is C, which is Energy Space. So instead of writing Energy Space, you are expected to write down C. That is what we do under matching features. We are expected to match the description which has been given on the passage with the actual answer which is given in the list. I hope that is clear. So now let's look at example of matching features question. We have a full passage that I'll be using. Then we'll look at the question underneath the passage. So now we have adorable knitwear. That's the title of the passage. It's very important to always read the title of the passage because it gives you an idea of what the passage is all about, and it helps you in answering the question. Then another thing is that we don't really do much of reading, though we are reading, but we are not reading extensively. But what we are doing is actually to read quickly, to have the main idea of what the passage is saying. So that's why we make use of the reading skill known as skimming. So when we skim, what we do is to read through the first sentence and the last sentence of each paragraph. Now, skimming is actually reading quickly to have an idea of what the passage is all about. And when we skim, we read the first sentence and the last sentence of each paragraph. When we do that, we actually do that to have an idea of what the passage is. And the reason why we are reading the first sentence and the last sentence of each paragraph is because those areas contain the main idea of the paragraph. So that is why we are reading those specific places. So after that, we now move on to the next reading skill, which is scanning. So once we are through with reading, skimming rather, we now move on to scanning. Now we scan after we've gone through the question. So after we've gone through the question, we now go on and look out for where the question is. So when we are doing that, we are scanning because we are looking for that specific information. So I hope that is clear.
Hi, chat with us to join our live classes that hold special for JAM, IELTS, WAEC, NCE, Beckett, and the likes. Okay, you can use the number on the screen right now.
So now back to our example. We have the title, Adorable Knitwear, Online Customer Reviews. Now the first customer is Mary Ann. The second customer is Davina. The third is Naga. And the fourth is Libby, that's D. And the last is Laura, that's E. So now let's go over to the question. Now the question says, look at the 5 online customer reviews of sweaters A to E on page 18. For which review are the following statements true? Write the correct letter A to E in boxes 8 to 14 on your answer sheet. Now, this other instruction is very important. We have notes. You may use any letter more than once. You may use any letter more than once. That simply means we can choose between A and E. Any letter between letter A and E, can write it twice. So that's the meaning of that instruction. I hope that is clear. So now let's look at question 8. We have the color of the sweater did not match the website image. The color of the sweater did not match the website image. Now, the information we are picking from this question is color of the sweater, website image. So we'll now go down or go over to the question, to the passage, Now, while we were skimming, the answer could be found in paragraph B, the second sentence, because we have skimmed this passage earlier. So the answer will be found in paragraph B, the second sentence, where we have the purple one is pretty, though I expected a lighter shade from the picture. Now the picture is referring to the one that was posted on the website. So the customer was expecting a lighter shade of color purple, but she's still okay with this color purple that was sent down to her. So for number 8, our answer would be B, because that is where we can find that information. So the description is found in paragraph B. So our answer is B. Now let's look at another answer, another question, I'm sorry. Now we have question 9. The customer took some time to decide on the purchase. The customer took some time to decide on the purchase. Now, took some time, that's the word we are working with. Took some time to decide on the purchase. So let's go back to the passage and see where that information is. That is located in paragraph A, the first sentence. We have, I spent a while thinking about buying this sweater because of the price. But I'm glad I finally did. I spent a while. Can you see that? I spent a while. That is a synonym for took a long time. That was located in question 9. I hope that is clear. So let's go for a short break. We're back shortly.
Hey, are you enjoying this video? Liking this video or leaving your comments will not take anything away from you. It will rather suggest to YouTube algorithm that will make useful educative content and help them rank us better so that we can reach more persons like you. So why not do it? Hit the like button, comment, and make sure you subscribe so that YouTube algorithms can push it upward and make it viral, helping others like you. Thank you.
Okay, now let's look at example of the true, false, not given question type, which is also known as identifying information. Identifying information. So here is an example. The title of the passage says, Go Bridge Tramp Link, frequently asked questions. Then we have, when do the trams run? Can I get a tram from the airport? What do I do if I don't have a ticket? Can I take my bike on the tram? Now you will notice that I read the subheadings. This is very important because when we are looking out for our answer, this is what will guide us to the actual answer. So now let's go down to the question. Now the instruction says, 2. If the statement agrees with the information. False. If the statement contradicts the information. Not given. If there is no information on this. Now the first question. The city buses start operating later than the trams. The city buses start operating later than the trams. So now, remember the keyword is operating later. That means at a later time than the trams. That is found in the first paragraph, the last sentence. Now, so the first paragraph says, when do the trams run? Now, the last sentence, we have our first tram from the city center leaves from Marvin Square at 6:30 a.m. half an hour after the first city bus service. Let me take that again. I'll try and take it more slowly this time. Our first tram from the city center leaves from Marvin Square at 6:30 a.m. half an hour after the first city bus service. Did you hear that? Half an hour. That simply means 30 minutes after the first city bus service. Now, the question says, the city buses start operating later than the trams. Now you can see we have a contrary information there, but we are going with information contained in the passage. So according to the passage, this statement is false because the passage says the tram starts operating after 30 minutes after the city bus. So that means the first answer or the answer to the first question is false. I hope it's clear. So now let's look at question number 4. The cost of a tram ticket varies depending on your journey. The cost varies. That means it changes depending on your journey. So we go back to where we have, what do I do if I don't have the tickets? Now, the second sentence, that's the third paragraph. The third sentence actually gives us that information where we have, check your routes and make sure you buy the correct price tickets. Check your routes and make sure you buy the correct price tickets. So that simply means you need to check where you are going to or your destination for you to know if you have actually paid the correct fare. So based on that, we would say the information is true because we have similar ideas. So number 4 answer is definitely true. I hope that is clear. Now we are looking at the IELTS writing, general training. Now, the IELTS Writing General Training Test, we have 2 major tasks. The first is letter writing, which is task 1, and the second is essay writing, which is task 2. And the writing test is for 1 hour, 20 minutes for the first task and 40 minutes for the second task. Now, let's look at it in details. Task 1, you are to respond to a given problem by writing a letter which requests information or explain the situation. And you have to write at least 150 words. That's for task 1. Now, this said letter could now be a formal letter, could be semi-formal, could be informal, depending on the problem or the situation. I hope that is clear. Now the task 2, you have to write a short essay in response to a topic which is presented as a point of view or an argument or a problem or advantages, disadvantages. And you have to write at least 250 words. You have 40 minutes. 40 minutes to do task 2. So 40 plus 20 gives us 1 hour for the writing test. And the writing test is the last paper of the written aspect of the IELTS test. I hope that is clear. Now we'll go on a short break, then we'll come back and check the criteria for writing. Welcome back. So now we are going to look at the criteria of the writing test. And we're starting with that of task 1. The writing criteria, that means how our letter is being marked. So we are going to examine that first. So now, the first is what we call task achievements. Task achievements. That's the first. Now, what's the meaning of task achievements, or what are we expected to do under task achievements? Now, the first thing we are being asked to do is to make sure our letter is up to 150 words. If our letter is below 150 words, we are going to have marks being deducted from our overall score. Now, the second thing we are doing under task achievement is to answer all of the questions we have been asked. Answer all of the questions we are being asked. That is what we do under, the second thing we do under task achievement. So after that, we have the second one, which is coherence and cohesion. Coherence and cohesion. Now, what does coherence mean? Coherence simply means the orderly arrangement of our letter, or let me say the organization of our letter. That simply means how we paragraph our letter, and we see that a paragraph is moving smoothly into the next paragraph. Now, to do well, or to do that well, we should answer the sub-question under the main question, one after the other. So if we are able to do that successfully, we will score well under coherence and cohesion. Now, the next one is cohesion. Cohesion simply means the arrangement of sentences within the paragraph. The arrangement of sentences within the paragraph. There is a particular order that our sentence is expected to follow. We have this order that is often referred to as P, or some will say pi. Now, to do well or to write well, like we said, cohesion simply means arrangement of sentences within the paragraph. So there is a particular order sentences within a paragraph are meant to follow. Now we have what we call P or pi to help us do that. The P simply stands for
Hi, if you have not subscribed to this channel, you can do so in 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And don't forget to hit the notification button.
Point. That's the main point. While the E or the I stands for explanation or illustration. That simply means the sentence or the sentences explaining the main point. Now the last E stands for example. That means example to make the main point clearer, or to make the explanation of the main point more clearer. So this is the order sentences within the paragraph are expected to follow. So if we are able to follow this order, it will help the arrangement of sentences within the paragraph and we will score well under cohesion. Now the next is lexical resource. Lexical resource. Now lexical resource is majorly dealing with vocabulary. You can even get that idea from the word lessons. Lesson simply means word power or vocabulary. So lexical resource is dealing with vocabulary. When we write, we are expected to respond to a situation. And whatever situation we are responding to, there are some special words that are related to that situation. For example, a student writing to the lecturer to obtain permission to be absent from class for some weeks is expected to use expressions that are found within the academic terrain. So if you are now assuming the position of such students and you are using expressions that are outside the academic terrain, it might affect your score under lexical resource. Another thing lexical resource is measuring is spelling. We need to take note of our spelling and we need to be careful. If we are spelling using the American system, we should stick to that from the beginning of our letter down to the end of our letter. And if we are spelling using the British system, we should stick to that from the beginning of our letter down to the end of our letter. Because if we keep switching between the British system and the American system while we are still writing a particular letter, it simply means we don't really know what we are, it simply means we are not sure of our spelling, and that would affect our score under lexical resource. Another thing lexical resource is measuring is the appropriate use of words. We have what we call collocation. Collocation simply means words that go together or words that are often used together. So our knowledge or basic knowledge of collocation is being tested under lexical resource. Now the last is grammatical range and accuracy. Grammatical range and accuracy. Now that is more or less like 2 in 1. Now the first part, which is grammatical range, is measuring the use of different sentence structures or patterns. the use of different sentence structures or patterns. What does that mean? It simply means your letter is being measured to see how you are able to manipulate and make use of the different kind of sentences that we have under the English language. So, and we have the simple sentence, the compound sentence, and the complex sentence under the English language. So how well you can use this combination in your letter, that is being measured under grammatical range. Now the next is, or the second is accuracy. What does accuracy mean? Accuracy simply means correctness, the correctness of your sentences or your expression. So accuracy is measuring how correct, grammatically correct your sentences are. Now, one aspect of that is the use of subject-verb agreements, also known as concord. Now, the simple rule of concord is that if the subject, that means what you're talking about, is one, you're expected to use a singular verb. And we know that a singular verb usually take S. A singular verb usually take S. Now, if the subject is more than one, you're expected to use a plural verb. A plural verb does not take S. So that's the basic rule of subject-verb agreements. Another one is the use of pronoun, noun and pronoun. Now, the basic rule guiding that is that if a pronoun is left dangling in a sentence, you should remove that pronoun and replace that pronoun with a noun. Simply put, if a pronoun in a sentence is not referring to any noun, instead of writing that pronoun, write a noun in its place. I hope that is clear. Okay. Now, that is all about the criteria for writing. And if you know what is being expected, you can actually do well. Now, I believe there will be a question that you will have. Please drop your question in the comment section.